how you've been given a label from the time you exited your mom's womb. And this is what you have identified with for most of your life. This is my label. This is my name. You had no choice in that name. You might even appreciate the name. Not saying, that, hey, be upset about being named. Purpose of me saying this is to get people to understand that most of the things we do and most of the things we believe in is simply based on an idea that someone gave us to believe in. I was born in India, I would most likely be Hindu or whatever the mainstream religion is of that place, right? If I was born in Israel, I was Judaism. Right? And the list goes on. Just depends on where you were born and who you were exposed to and what their exposure was to the things, what they were exposed to. So you're being exposed to generations of teaching just by default, not by default, by, well, this is what my peoples are doing. This is what we do. No real foundational understanding other than what they told you. And you're being led along basically with an invisible leash of information. And yet, people will die for these things. People will fight over these belief systems, these labels. They will eat, don't you call me out my name, and ready to fight. A name they didn't even choose. Like I said, the purpose of to stop and think, where do I get my labels from? Where am I getting my identity from? What is my identity? And this is why so many people are lost, because their identity is not their chosen identity. Yeah, my bad. I had this thing muted. My bad. But the people on Telegram heard me. All right. I apologize. What I was saying was, first of all, let's start all over. Why is people calling me while I'm working? Oh, maybe somebody's calling me, tell me my sound is my. Y'all should be able to see me, hear me now. You guys can hear me now on YouTube. Yeah, I had muted it and never turned it back on the system. So y'all should be good before I go in. Let me just wait, pause, make sure everybody's good. That's why y'all need to get on that Telegram. I would do more Q&A on Telegram if more people got on it, but it seemed like y'all don't like most of y'all don't like Telegram, so I just do it on YouTube. All right. Everybody said I'm good. Now, it was just my fault. But what I was saying was, it's January 12th, 2025, and I was basically saying that, we got a lot of stuff going on around the world. We have the fires over in California. And if you're one of those affected or in that area, I pray that your family is safe. And also, I was saying that we should put into our morning and evening rituals that we're praying for protection over ourselves, our family, because we don't know what's going to happen from moment to moment. Of course, there's word out there that's saying, these are conspiracies. Whether it's a conspiracy or not, you need to be on guard. Like, not be in a state of fear, but just be prepared. Like, if something were to happen, do you have enough water in your house to survive? Do you have enough food? I'm not saying be an extreme prepper, but just be somewhat prepared. Just like you save money for a rainy day, you need to save food and be prepared for a rainy day or a disastrous day. We never know what's going to happen. And we living in a system where it seems like some of these things is maybe deliberately or intentionally set. Just the timing of everything is just so weird. But when you live in a country that's built on the blood, sweat, and tears of the people, what you give is what you get. So it's expected that things will happen. Won't go well. If you did things in the past, just in your personal life, some of the things we are dealing with is simply reaping what we sow. That's it. Just try to work with what you put out is what you get. What you reap is what you sow. Who you choose to deal with or hang out with, you are will reap from those interactions, whether it's a good one or a bad one. I was saying when I do my morning walk this morning, I was talking about your associations. You can get in trouble just by hanging out with people, right? Like I remember when I was a teenager, there was a young guy we knew that uh, was warned by his parents not to hang out with a certain group of guys, certain brothers that he knew. He grew up around these guys, and he didn't listen. So one of the brothers called him up, "Hey, let's go hang out. I'm going to see my girl." So they all drive over to the girl's house. Him and the guy he's friends with and his brother. So the two brothers go in the house and beat up the guy's girlfriend and the guy she was cheating on him with. Killed him. Now he's sitting in the car just chilling, waiting for them to come out. He don't know what's going on. But they all went down. They all got charged with that crime simply by his association. And he was warned. See, God gives us warnings of some of the things we're doing before we get the consequences. You get warned, you just ignore them. And this concept works across the board. If you're trying to be a prosperous person, you're trying to build your business, who you go in business with, who you dealing with on a daily basis, they are going to affect you one way or the other. I knew this, but I got to come to some over the past year, come to some realities. How you want to run a business could be drastically different than uh the person you're partnered with. Me, I want to run a business where everything's in writing, where we have clear terms so that there is no disagreement. And if you're that like me, you need to go into a business with someone like that. But sometimes we like people and we want to go in business, but we don't really vet their business skills. Sometimes we want to be friends with people, but we don't vet their friendship skills. We just in a moment feel good. And you got to remember, people are always presenting to you the best part of them, or it may not even be the best part of them. What it is a fake persona that they put in front of you that you buying into. That's why you got to investigate. Oh, we're gonna investigate our friends? Hell yeah, you better investigate who you dealing with. Like I said, this guy grew up with these guys, and they were neighbors. He had no idea that they were capable of murder over jealousy. But because he didn't want to give up those friends or people he thought was it, because no friend is going to take you to something where they're going to harm someone, knowing you come from a good family and allow yourself to ruin your lives. Like even OGs on the block, right? They straight up criminals. But if they see a kid, most of those real down to earth OGs, they see a kid that has potential, they're gonna tell him, hey, this ain't for you. No, you can't be a part of this. Because they real. They listen, that's a friend. Like, hey, listen, I do my thing, but you can't be a part of it because you're not about this life. But see, we got people that don't care. They don't care about your future. They just care about what they want. And they'll drag you into something. Next, you know, you're in the middle of something you have no idea of what you got yourself into. All because you wanted to keep this friendship going. It's time to take an inventory of the people in your life. Because these very people that you're allowing to be in your life could be the reason why you're not getting your blessings. Because they can't get what's for you. They can't have it. And they're not going to get it. And you're not going to get it as long as they're there. I've been talking about this for a few weeks now. And I guess the reason why I'm talking about this is because me personally, I have to come to some harsh realities and make some changes. But it's also for someone else who's in the same predicament. Because you're so good of a person and you like people and you genuinely want good to happen for everyone. You feel like you're helping them. No, you're not. You might be helping them by cutting them off. You might be helping them level up just by you separating from them so that they can see their actions for what it really is, that it's going to keep them in a place where no one wants to be around them. Sometimes we're hurting people because we think that we are helping them by keeping them around. Hang on a second. Oh, forgot to have my incense over there. And we're not. We're hurting them. And another thing, you can't help anybody before you help yourself. See, if you're trying to level up, you're trying to get to a certain place, you need to be connecting with people that are already in that place, not people trying to get there like you. People who are already in that place. Yes, it'd be good to be around people that's heading in the same direction, but you'd be way better off with someone who's already there and they can help you get to where you're trying to get because they're there. You see? So I had Genesis opened up this morning, and it says, in the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, let there be light, and there was light. You see? Like now that's a very powerful statement. And then 4 says, and God saw that the light was good, and God separated light from the darkness. This is you can liken this to your own life. That you're trying to, as you're growing up, you're trying to become who God created you to be. And through this, you're dealing with a lot of bad information, people promoting things that keep you in darkness. And then one day you come to this awareness that I need to make a change. And then you say to yourself, I'm going to change. In that moment, you're basically saying, let there be light. Let there be a time for me to gain a new understanding and to seek out new information that can bring me closer to the purpose of what God have me here for. That's the enlightenment. Just the simple awareness that, hey, what I've been preached at or preached to, all the things I've been told needs to change. You just got light. You said, let there be light. And then all of a sudden, all the information is coming at you. Now, that light that you're getting is going to conflict with the darkness. And this is why the scripture said, then and God saw the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. See, then now, as you get new information, you got to separate the darkness from the light. Once I was here under this understanding, which kept me in darkness, now I'm here under this understanding. Now I'm getting light. I'm getting light more and more. And this is a lifelong journey. You're going to be seeking more and more light until the day this body no longer can withstand this atmosphere. You're going to be seeking it. But I know for sure that if long as you're out there looking, you'll have a long and productive life. What happens to something that just sits still and doesn't produce any fruit? The world will consume it. If you just leave a car sitting and don't do anything to it, don't drive it, don't start it up, you come back in some months, it may not even start up. And you leave it even longer, the earth would eventually consume it. This planet is made so perfect that anything that sits still will become a part of that earth. It will consume it. It will have growth. It will deteriorate it, break it back down, and bring it back to the earth. That's why everything has to keep moving, keep progressing, keep maintaining. You got to maintain your consciousness. It's not something you could do haphazardly. You have to maintain it. Now, when I say maintain, I mean maintain it in a good way, a way of that's going to bring you peace, happiness, joy, wealth. Because some of the ways we're maintaining it, whether we want to believe that or not, some of us are maintaining it in a bad way, through uh programming of television and watching all the drama that goes on around us and buying into that, buying into ideas of poverty, speaking to your financial situation in a negative way, like saying I am the B word. Not going to say that. I don't want to speak that. Instead of speaking to your finances, say, I am prosperous. Money flows to me effortless and freely. I circulate money, and everything I send out comes back to me 100-fold. See, these are the things we need to be saying, especially if we get an oppositional thought. Like if you get an oppositional thought, like, man, my money is, but I'm not going to speak the devil's words. And devil just simply means adversary, opposer. I'm not going to speak any adversarial words on my finances. Not even if the thought comes to me, I'm going to rebuke it and put it out of my mind. And speak the words that I want to see manifest in my life. If you want more money, you speak to that. You say, I have money. I am wealthy. All bills are already prepaid. Do you realize your bills are already prepaid? And I'm not talking from the physical sense. I'm talking about from a spiritual sense. Your bills are already prepaid. You didn't come here. God didn't send you into this world with debt. That's a system. That's a man-made system thing to tie you into being a slave. Everything here was freely given to you without cost. It is man who got here and put a cost on it, put a label, and made it where it had value, where you had to pay for something. That's man's system. That's the devil's system. That's the world system. Because as long as you're indebted to them, you could never see your true divinity. That really, this is all man. It's all made up. Everything you involved in is made up by someone. Was it made up by God? Man made it up to distract you. And once you understand your power, this thing that they call money and the idea of wealth, you'll realize that you're already wealthy. You already got an inheritance that's unlimited, that doesn't run out. Once you realize that, once you realize that, all those things, once you listen, put forth the kingdom of heaven first and all these things. So all of what man has created and defined as wealth, that'll come to you. God will give it to you. Solomon was asked, what did he want? And he said, I want wisdom so I can rule properly. And because he asked for that, that was a spiritual thing. Wisdom is a spiritual request. It's a godly request. So he put forth the kingdom of heaven first, and then all that was an example of all the things being given to you because he put that up first. See, wealth, real wealth, everlasting wealth follows spiritual things. It comes after that. Real wealth. Yes, people in this world have a sense of wealth because they have the material thing, but they don't have the kingdom first. So that will always be subject to being taken away and them losing it. See, you can receive wealth in this world because why? Devil came to the Christ and said, I'll give, just praise me. Obey me, worship me, and I'll give you all of the kingdoms of the world. In the Christ mind, being that it was or is, realize, what do you mean you can give me all of this? My father gave that to allow these rulers to have this stuff. So what you mean you have dominion over the world and the world mind, the world consciousness, but there's still one Father that's over all of it. and is allowing you to have dominion, right, for a temporary time, for a short amount of time. But your reign is going to come to the end soon. Soon in the biblical sense could mean a long time to our human consciousness. So why would I sit there and take this? Oh yeah, I'm gonna get this. My dominion ain't just here on earth, because if he'd have taken that, yeah, he got that, but his dominion would have just been relegated or restricted to just this world, this physical world. But Christ had inheritance way bigger than that. He was going to be in control of everything, even giving the keys to Hades, to bypass death, the physical death. See, there was a bigger goal. So he didn't take that temporary request or contract. That was a contract that he was being presented with. And devil had all the power to give it to him. But there's another allegorical interpretation there that we won't go into today. But have you allowed your mind to be enlightened by the truth, where you can make the changes? And enlightenment comes in all forms. And one of the enlightenments we talked about is simply your associations, what you're associating with. You got to become enlightened about that. Is these associations helping me or hurting me? Are they keeping me in the same position? People loved you the way you were or where you are right now because it's convenient for them and they're comfortable. But as soon as you start talking different and acting different, they just start looking at you. Well, you seem like you changed. What's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with you. See, it's the other way around. Something's wrong with them. They still trying to be the same way they was from years ago. They're not trying to make any differences. They're just trying to get by. And you hear people say, I'm just trying to make it day by day. I'm just trying to get by. Get what little the world has to offer. This is how they talk. This is how they curse themselves. God made the world for you to enjoy it in limitless, unlimited ways. And it's your choice whether you're going to choose to accept that gift. Solomon asked for wisdom and God gave him everything along with the wisdom. And even he, after a time of having all that wealth and having that wisdom, when he allowed himself to be connected to women that were not of his same faith. Remember, if you study the Bible, every downfall of anyone came down to association. The number one thing that brought people down was their connection with someone else. And that's what brought King Solomon down. He had all these wives, and they all had different gods. God didn't stop him from doing that. He had free, well, listen. And then he started building altars to these gods. Now, the same God that gave him wisdom, he go to some gods that he don't even know, who ain't done nothing for him. And he started practicing or just to please his wives. Association. So he started identifying with the creation of God instead of keeping his identity with the creator. See, God created all of them women, those beautiful women. I'm sure those women were beautiful. But he took his vision, his consciousness, and brought it down to a physical level. And he revered, or I'm trying to think of the word I want to use. He made a priority of the creation of God as something important and decided to go against his teachings and build false idols and altars to false gods for his wives. That's what I said. Every person, even most favored, except for Christ. See, and that's what we all achieve in the Christ consciousness, where we don't allow distractions to keep us off the mark. See, Christ didn't allow distractions. He was presented with a lot of them. And he kept focused because he knew what the reward was at the end, putting forth the kingdom of heaven first and all these things. And guess what? Since Christ said that greater things you will do than I, means that you will receive greater rewards than he received. If you're doing greater, he was just an example or a sampler for what you can achieve. That's why I would say, in order to realize where the Christ is coming from, or he's returned, he must return in you. You will never know the Christ until he returns in you, within you, until you embody that spirit of Christ, embody the consciousness of Christ. We don't allow people's actions to change you or move you off your path. You don't allow people who really do you wrong in the worst way, you still remain walking in the direction of Christ consciousness. You see? That's your job. You only have one job, and that's to remember that you are the Christ you're looking for. You're not going to find him in the sky. You're not going to find it's always within you. That's why I say go off into your secret place and ask, because that's where you make the connections. See, we too often want to seek these connections we can see with our naked eye, our physical eye. No, make the connection with the mind's eye within you. Make those connections. And then once you open your eyes in a physical way, then you can see the truth. You will literally be able to see the spirit of people. You'll literally begin to feel the vibes, because once you vibrate at a certain frequency, on a Christ conscious frequency, you will be able to determine what's good for you and what's not. See, and that's when, what happened with Christ when he was meditating. And after he meditated and fasted, that's when the devil came and tried to challenge him because he thought he was weak. But that also shows that fasting and meditation makes you strong, because he cleared out. Even the Christ had to meditate to clear out anything that can contaminate his path, his walk. That's why you have to take time for yourself, whether it be in your home, you just take time every day and do a meditation and intentionally set down what you want. Like I wrote some things down. It says, intentionally say, let there be light. And not only let there be light, once the light is there, you walk into that light. You work for that light. And realize at the same time, you need connections. The most powerful connection that you need is God's connection. Because with that connection is going to help you be able to determine who, in the physical sense, is a good connection for you. That's Without that connection, you're going to be making connections in darkness. Because you don't have the light. You're going to be in the dark making connections. of mental, spiritual darkness. And if you look back on your life, as I look back on my life, and some of the decisions I made and the connections I made was based off in darkness. And once I come to realize, hey, I made a dark decision. I made a decision while my mind was in darkness, and this is why I'm having these issues now. But then as you get closer to that Christ mind, you like, you won't judge people, but you be like, that's not a good move for me. I'm not going to walk down that path. And then also if you decide to take me up on my on what I'm saying, and you start to really connect your mind spiritually to the source, the mastermind, you'll start to move away from everything that is not pushing you in the right direction. You won't even want to hear it or listen to it. You know what I'm talking about. Some things you like now that you liked before, you don't even want to hear it anymore. You don't want to listen to it. Why? Because your vibration changed. And that no longer resonates with you. And that happens with things and people. Once you start resonating at a spiritual frequency, everything that is not spiritual will not be able to stick around. Now, the wicked spirits will try to tempt you, like what the devil did. Can you imagine what frequency Christ was resonating on at that time? And he got jealous. Well, look at this. Yeah, he think he all that. He done fasted, and I'm gonna see what he all about. Yeah, that's gonna happen too. But he was so strong because he just came out of a fast. He had cleansed himself of all things that could have made him doubt whether he should have took the devil up on his offer. You know how powerful that's telling you the power of meditation and fasting. And intentionally putting your eyes on the things that you want. And it's a wonder, the churches, they talk about fasting, but they never really talk about meditation. How important those two go together. You don't just fast, you're going to have to meditate, because fasting by itself is challenging, because you'll be fighting, your body's going to be fighting because you're so used to putting food down in you, right? And now you're gonna have a war go on. The devil is gonna tempt you. And see, y'all think I'm talking about some outside devil, some devil coming in whispering in. No, I'm talking about the devil, you. That devil is gonna talk you into, oh, you need to go get some food. The devil start talking to you. When you start talking about fasting, the devil start talking to you. That devilish being in you, you're gonna start talking. Man, I can't go without eating. I'll do a juice fast. I'll do this. You start minimizing the fast. People have literally gone without eating or drinking for a long period of time through drawing on the strength of their meditation. See, it wasn't around there out in the world trying to hang out and then try to fast, because you're gonna have all kind of temptations out there. They took time at home and just fasted, stayed away, kept the world away. That's what, every time Jesus went off to pray and he really needs something big to happen, he went off by himself. He didn't take anybody with him. Are you willing to do that? Some of us want to fast. Oh, I want to fast. You want to fast with me? That's cool. Nah. The better way is to do it alone, because you don't know what energy that person is resonating on. And that energy is going to come and interfere with yours if it ain't in sync. All right, who's out here? We got Lake and Apple, Peace of the Gods, and much light to all. Red Pill Real says protection, love, protection to all. Thank you. Uh Peace, everyone. Yeah, I said that. And La Vida said peace to all of you. They said my sound was muted. And let's go down. Linda D. Yuta said facts. Just so you know, when you go to edit this, your mic is in hella low, like it's muffled, brother. I don't know. I got it down. I got the volume up. And I'm looking at the screen. The settings look good. Oh, Linda D. Yuta said, great message, though. Sean Cheltenham says, peace, brother. And DJ OJ said, peace, Sunday service, pay tithes with likes. That's right. Please like and subscribe. Like. We got 16 people on. It should be 16 likes. I would like to have that many. Share it. Share the message. Yeah, it's a lot going on in this world. A lot of craziness. And you're going to see more. And maybe, we got relatively 8 more days to the inauguration. Who knows what's going to happen? So what I'm saying is prepare. Don't be in fear, but prepare. Go get your water, get your food. Stop, don't go crazy. You don't have to go crazy, but just prepare. And I know some of you might be short on funds. Just do what you can. Be ready. Because this world is ready to throw anything at you at any moment. Those people in California didn't expect that. The people in North Carolina didn't expect it to be that bad. But one day it could hit your community and it could be that bad. And if you're sitting there waiting on the government to come fix you or help you, you're gonna have problems. That's why you got to be ready. I got some stuff, but I know I'm looking around. There's some things I need to do to tighten up. You know, but so far, 2025 for me is a great year so far, and every year is a great year. I just looking forward to be greater. You know, woo, that was a good one. Oh, that was strong. I mean, it's just I got some more word in me. This is how you're gonna make your 2025 good. First, you got to say, "Let there be light." That means you're gonna be seeking new information, new knowledge, studying. Look at your life and see how you've been walking in darkness and see how you can change it to a light path, a light walk. Make those changes. Sit down and reflect. And do that morning and in the evening in the evening before you go to bed. And try to do it in the middle of the day. Because the way things are going right now, you need everything you can to keep your mind focused. Because there's so many things out there that's going to turn your attention away from your protection. Because y'all realize that all these distractions just to get you to look away from your own protection, which is keeping your consciousness at a high level. And recognize that you need partnership. And that's God, and then the God in you, the God within you. You need to be looking for that protection and ask for strength. Before I started the show, I was listening to Tasha Cobb's Fill Me Up. I love that song. That's a very inspirational song because I listen to it. Sometimes you just keep going and you realize you're going, you running on empty, so you need to be filled up. So you need to intentionally ask every night before you go to bed, fill me up as I rest, fill me up with the ideas and the knowledge and the prosperity and the good health that I need to make it through the next day. What does the Lord Prayer say? Give us this day our daily bread. This day. Why? Because we operate on this day, not right now. This day, every day, asking. And that prayer is if you really study that prayer, it's a very powerful prayer. This day. If you keep your mind focused on this day, this moment, man, that will change your prosperity. See, too often we're looking for tomorrow. Oh, I want to make this money so tomorrow I can do. No, right now, you need to be working on something that's gonna make you money this day. When have you ever wrote down today I'm gonna make 10 grand? To this day is my day. That's the daily bread I'm looking for. Let us not go off into temptation worrying about tomorrow. Let us not go off into temptation allowing people to distract us from our purpose. Let me remind you that you have a purpose. You have a divine purpose to be here. Number one is to be of the Christ mind, be like the Christ mind. And as you are being like the Christ mind is to illuminate your surroundings, meaning help people around you. And when I say help people, that means don't force your teachings or what you know on them, but be of assistance when they come calling, when they come to ask you. I know over the last week, my consultations are through the roof. Through the roof. A lot of it probably had to do with I've reduced it down to $50. A consultation, akemail.com. You need a consultation, go to akemail.com and get it and schedule one. Anything you want to talk about, $50. That was my very first pricing point when I first started doing consultation. I went back to the beginning. And I realized that a lot of people need encouragement, but their mind wasn't in a place to pay the $97 because they haven't become to the awareness that that $97 they're paying will come back to them tenfold because they're given to a good cause. See, when you're paying for something, you should be saying, "Hey, as I circulate this currency, may it come back to me 100-fold." What's wrong with you doing that? See the physical mind, the dark mind, the unenlightened mind would say, "Oh, that's not realistic. How you going?" No, it's not. You are only limited by your own request. What you're looking for, that's what you're limited. If you have it in your consciousness that you want to make just 6 figures this year, that's what you limited yourself to. So just like you have it in your consciousness to make 6 figures, you can have it in your conscience to make 9 figures. No difference. It's a different type of walk, of course. To get to the 9 figures, is some stuff involved there, a little more. Because to me, easy, once you get to a certain level of prosperity of money you've made, that becomes easy. So all these people that are billionaires, when they got to their first million, that was the hard thing. And then once they got to the million, then it became, millions are easy. Now they 10 million. then their effort becomes multiplied because now they realize the simple mindset that they need to have $1 billion is just to see themselves as a billionaire and take the action. So once you ask God to fill you up, whatever you're asking for, you have to walk in that direction. Even though the path may not be clear, you have to be moving forward towards that. It's so many people that come to me, I wanna quit the job. I want to do this. I want to do that. But very few people heed the call that God has given them to even move in that direction. Many are called, but few are chosen. Why are why only a few is chosen? Because only a few is willing to put in the work. The master called 3 different slaves and gave them talents, each one of them. But one of them chose to just lay down and just bury it somewhere. That's the key. Everyone works according to their talents. Why did one could do more than the other? Because simply because that one that did more believed he can do more. And the master knew that he had a different belief system. That's why he was given more. And then the other one that came second place, he was given according to his belief system what he can do. And the master that gave the slave that one talent, he knew he wasn't going to do anything with it. But hey, as the master, I'm going to give you an opportunity. I'm not going to take your opportunity away from you. I'm going to give you this one talent and see what you do with it. I'm going to give you an opportunity, but I'm not going to bless you with 10 talents because I can see from your past actions that you ain't ready for that. You'll go out there. If he'd have gave that man 10 talents, he'd went out there and got high or did something with that money. That's why he didn't give him one. I could stand to lose the one if he do something wrong with this. Oh, but he said, no, I'm gonna bury this. I'm gonna chill and just give it back when the master comes back. God, your talent is your life. The simple fact that you're here, the gift of life. Now do something with it. And your talent ain't go work for some corporation and make them rich. See, they're working within their talent, and then they hire you to keep their talent alive. See, but this system has done what? This is how you know this is the devil's world. Because this system teaches you to go get a job, get a good education so you can so you can have a job to build on someone else's talent that they're working in. They're working towards. See, you have to see it. People hire you on their business, in their job, to make their talent productive, to multiply their talent, not yours. See it. See it for what it is. That's it. That is it. See it for what it is. You might say, wow, discernment. I usually pray for the Lord's Prayer at night before I put the body to rest. From now on, I will practice the Lord's Prayer at daylight. Forgive us this day is what we need. See, they got you praying at night. The Lord and he's right. You should be doing that. It's this day. It's now. Give me this day my daily bread. And that daily bread is as high as you want it. You could have 100 loaves if you want. That could be your daily bread. You ain't gonna eat it all. Now you have something that you can give away to someone that is short, that don't have, someone that's deserving of it. Someone who has not consciously connected to the Christ mind, where they still in darkness thinking that they can't do it. See, this is what calling coming from light to dark, letting it be light, that you can do it. You can do anything you work on. It's not just what you put your mind to, it's what you put your mind to and what you work on that gives you your success. So you can, somebody say, you can do anything with your mind to. They left something out. Your mind can be on anything. I can fantasize about a whole lot of stuff. But if I don't work towards those fantasies, I will never get anything. That's what happened with the slave with the one talent. He got the one talent. He was given it to make it multiply. He did nothing with it. All of you have been given a life, have been given decent health, and had also been given opportunities. It's in your mind. What are you doing with it? It can't just be in the mind. In order for it to be manifested in this world, you got to work towards what's in the mind. To make it, you have to physically work towards it. You have to physically see the opportunities. Wealth was coming to me a long time ago. Well, how many people you can say this? You could have been a multi-million-dollar man or woman a long time ago. I could be filthy rich right now. But my associations is what held me back. And before I go, I'll tell you the story and what happened. When Bitcoin was $30 a coin, people offered to pay me in Bitcoin back then. And I turned it down. And you know why I turned it down? Because who I was working with, I said, people want to pay me in Bitcoin. What do you think? Nah, I don't want that Bitcoin, man. They could do this. They could do that. It was nothing but negative stuff. And I'm talking about a lot of people wanted to pay me in Bitcoin at that point when it was $30. And then God said, okay, he ain't going to take it now. Then a brother used to come to our seminars. Hey, man, let me set you a Bitcoin wallet. Let me set you a This is before it was $100. But I was still hanging out with that same person. And they had nothing but negative, and I respected what they had to say, and I listened to them. Come on now. Y'all hear me? Are y'all hearing me? If y'all don't get a clue that your associations will jack you up, keep you from where you was, I would be a super multi-millionaire by now if I had just accepted those Bitcoins. They wanted to buy my products with Bitcoin when it was $30. What is it now? 96,000 a coin? Come on now. See? So I'm not speaking from just guessing. The spirit told me to say it. No, I'm speaking from experience. Associations will jack you up and keep you from your blessing. Keep you. So who's keeping who from the blessing? You, by decisions. I didn't make the multi-million dollar status because it was me, because I made a decision not to allow people to pay me in Bitcoin. Simple. It's that simple. Yeah, that is so true in La Vida. DJ, JLJ, I remember when Bitcoin was so cheap, shaking my head. And that wasn't that long ago, bro. Wasn't? Was it? All right, it's 11:12. Just think about that. It ain't just because you lose out on something and because you didn't take it doesn't mean you can't do it again. Now I'm more mature now. Taking opportunities. When I see it, I walk towards it. I can have it in my mind. See, I had wealth in my mind, but I had getting wealth in a certain fixed way. From my way. It wasn't God's way. It wasn't in an enlightened way. That's why I couldn't get it or see it. My consciousness wasn't ready for it. God had presented to me several times. I kept saying I'm a millionaire, and the opportunity was right there. Here it is. What the hell's wrong with you? It's right there. But it was in an unorthodox way. It was outside of what I thought the way to wealth was. See, some of y'all have a way to make your business go off, but there's a person in the way. Meaning, there's a person that you don't like or want to work with, but that very person that you don't like and don't want to work with could be the very person that's going to take you there. There's people that don't listen to certain people because they curse. I don't listen to he curse. I don't like this person because of that. Just like in our last election, a lot of people didn't. I'm not here to judge whether Trump is a good or bad person. What I'm saying, most of the people who voted for Kamala Harris was only voting against Trump. They only voted for her because they didn't like Trump. There was no real reason other than they didn't like him. And this is how people make decisions. I don't like that person. I ain't doing nothing. Don't. And then here's the thing: they have no real foundational understanding of the person other than what people say about them. Like, well, the news said this. That's someone talking about them. That's not mean it's fact. Let me tell you something. What I get from all of that, not supporting him or not, but I'm gonna tell you, if there's an example that of resilience, that most of resilience in the world, he's a good one. You get brought up on charges, get convicted, and you still become president. It didn't stop him from going for the presidency. That's the lesson. All of that opposition that they gave him, whether true or not, he still moved forward and he still won the highest office in the land. That's respect. I just on that level alone. Let's remove all of the politics of it. Just on that level alone. You should be encouraged that, wait a minute, people could throw everything at you and you could still be successful. That's the message. That is the message. See, but the world got you distracted by looking at being personal. This person is this. He said this. He did that. He did it. How many, and all the people that be judging, they done stuff in their past too. But see, they don't understand those things that he did in this past being used as a weapon because somebody else want to take the spot. So they do and say anything to get that spot. It's a game. You mean to tell me a man get charged, get convicted, even get sentenced on Friday and still take the highest law for that? Man, please. And some of y'all say, well, that's white privilege. Maybe, maybe not. Because most people would have given up. I ain't messing with that. Nah, they doing this and came up with an excuse not to go. That's a playbook right there. All right, with that being said, peace, prosperity, extreme wealth. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace. How you've been given a label from the time you exited your mom's womb. And this is what you have identified with for most of your life. This is my label. This is my name. You had no choice in that name. You might even appreciate the name. Not saying, hey, be upset about being named. Purpose of me saying this is to get people to understand that most of the things we do and most of the things we believe in is simply based on an idea that someone gave us to believe in. I was born in India, I would most likely be Hindu or whatever the mainstream religion is of that place, right? If I was born in Israel, I was Judaism. right? And the list goes on. Just depends on where you were born and who you were exposed to and what their exposure was to the things, what they were exposed to. So you're being exposed to generations of teaching just by default. Not by default, by, well, this is what my peoples are doing, this is what we do. No real foundational understanding other than what they told you. And you're being led along basically with an invisible leash of information. And yet people will die for these things. People will fight over these belief systems, these labels. They will, don't you call me out my name, and ready to fight. A name they didn't even choose. Like I said, the purpose of to stop and think, where do I get my labels from? Where am I getting my identity from? What is my identity? And this is why so many people are lost, because their identity is not their chosen identity.